Hello students, this is Ashutosh here and we will soon begin the live TA session for this extra class for forests and their management. I hope I'm audible and everyone can see my screen, can see my video. I welcome you guys. Sorry for joining a bit late, I was preparing the questions. So today we have an extra class which will be a revision of all the lectures that we have encountered in this course so far. This course was taught by Professor Ankur Avadhya at IIT Kanpur and hello, my name is Ashutosh Behra. I am a PMRF PhD scholar at IIT Kanpur. I am a TA for this course, teaching assistant, who is conducting this live sessions. There is another TA, Miss Geetika from IIC, for the same course. You might have been attending her classes as well. So I encourage everyone to join these live sessions for the better understanding of the students and better engagement with NPTEL. We as PhD scholars are in collaboration with NPTEL try to provide these live classes so that apart from the recorded lectures, the student will have a live interaction and can clear their doubts. So I have structured this class as such. I have prepared multiple choice questions from as possible, covering each of these lectures in the whole modules of the forests and their management, which includes forests and their classifications, silvicultural practices, and forest fires, laws of the forest, definitions of forest, forest surveying and forest mensuration methods, measurement of forest height, volume, trees, conservation, wildlife, LiDAR, radar, all these topics have been covered. I have tried my best to include as many questions and explanation I can. So let's have a fruitful session. Let's wait for 5 more minutes for other students who are waiting to join this call. If you have any friends who have registered for this course or audited for this course or you think can benefit from this live class, please invite them to this meeting because this is the last class live session we are going to have for this course. We have already finished lecture week 12 weeks of live session pertaining to 10 multiple choice questions from each of these modules individually, and I hope you have all went through the lectures and found the course interesting. So this will be the last class. For this I have prepared 20 multiple choice questions of my own uh, from all these lectures that we have covered, and we will look at them one by one and try to find out what is the correct answer. Meanwhile, I'll spend some time over each of these questions to clear out the concepts, and if you have any questions or doubt or you want to understand a concept, please feel free to mention it in the chat box, and you can also talk to me at the end of this class. So this is also going to be a recorded lecture, the video of which will be uploaded on YouTube, and the materials or the slides that I'm going to present here also will be shared to you via the Google folder, Google Drive link. Okay, so let's wait 5 more minutes and we will start this class. Okay, students, attention. So I think it is time for us to start this class. So the format is going to be the same for all those who have attended my earlier classes, or as well as those who are going to attend this class anew, afresh. So please turn off your mic and video call throughout this class or session. Let me be the only one who is speaking. If you have any questions or any communication, you can mention it in the comment box, and at the end of the class you can talk to me if you have any specific queries or questions regarding to the lecture and the TA session, of course. Okay, so we will have a series of 20 multiple choice questions with 4 options, and only one of them is correct. Once I post the question, you have to mention in the chat box what do you think is the correct answer, and then I will reveal what is the correct answer in a minute or so, in 30 seconds or 1 minute, and then we will understand why the correct answer is the correct answer. We will also understand the concepts behind this question and the answer, thus covering all the topics as much as possible. Okay, so let me just present my screen and I will ask you responses from the class itself. Okay, so I hope everyone can see my screen and also see the screen changing. My audio is clear and audible, right? Good, thank you for the confirmation. So once again, I welcome everyone to the live session for forests and their management, and this is an extra class that we have organized in collaboration with NPTEL. This course is taught by Professor Ankur Avadia, and my name is Ashutosh Behra, and I'm a PMRF scholar from IIT Kanpur, who is conducting this live session. Okay, so as per the format of this presentation, in the upcoming slides, I have multiple choice questions which I'll post one by one, and you have to tell me what is the correct answer to these questions. And then I will reveal what is the correct answer after collecting all the answers, and also clear the concepts and briefly describe the topics that we are dealing with these questions. Okay? So let's move ahead to the first question of the session. Which of the following factors primarily determines forest type? Understood the question? Which of the following factors primarily determines the forest type? Option A, latitude only. Option B, rainfall and temperature. Option C, soil pH only. Option D, altitude only. Understood the question? What kind of forest is determined by which of these factors primarily? All of these factors are actually important in determination of the forest, but a single factor or a couple of factors are most important. Or if you look at the distribution of forest, you can always find these factors. Okay, I think this is an easy question, so let's check the comment box immediately. I can see other people are joining as we are progressing in the class, so let us have some time for them. Which of the following factors primarily determines the forest type? Option A, latitude only. Option B, rainfall and temperature. Option C, soil pH. Or option D, altitude. And in the chat box, people have answered. Aditya says B, Gaurav B, Saranya B, Abhay B, and Tarsia says B. Okay, everyone is saying option B. Let us look at what is the correct answer to this question. The factors which primarily determine the forest type are rainfall and temperature. So option B is the correct answer. Very good. All of you have answered correctly, and nice participation as well. I think we have a few more people, new people joining in the class today. So it's rainfall and temperature which primarily determines the forest type. Now, if you look at this distribution where we have plotted the annual precipitation or rainfall in the y-axis in centimeters and the average temperature in degrees Celsius on the x-axis, you can see that the forests can be classified on the basis of requirement of rainfall in the precipitation as well as survivability in temperature according to many different forest types. We have tropical rainforests which require high rainfall or occur in high rainfall areas with high temperature areas. Then tropical seasonal and thorn scrub forests on decreasing rainfall, and in desert we have higher temperatures as well as lesser rainfalls. Similarly, temperate rainforest, it is still a rainforest which requires higher amount of rainfall, but it occurs in much cooler regions from 20 to average temperature of 20 to 10 degrees Celsius. Savannas are the grasslands and temperate forests consist of deciduous forest. Then we have grasslands and boreal and tundra forest which occurs in low precipitation and low temperature regions. So rainfall controls moisture availability and directly determines tree species such as evergreen versus deciduous versus thorn forest. Evergreen forest, rainfall are rainfall loving, they require water to maintain their evergreen nature. They never shed their leaves and their leaves remain evergreen all the time. Deciduous forest, they shed during the dry seasons and stay green during the rainy seasons, versus thorn forests which basically thrive on less water and arid desert regions. For example, high rainfall, dense evergreen forest, low rainfall, thorn or scrub vegetation. And how does temperature influences it? Temperature generally controls the metabolic activity and growth rate as well as the flowering of plants and length of the growing season. It determines forests like tropical versus temperate and alpine forest. So if you remember this map where we have plotted the x and y axis as precipitation and temperature respectively, then you can appreciate that these two factors are the primary factors which determine forest type. Is it clear to the students? Simple and easy question, and all of you have given the right answer. If it's clear, then let me know in the chat with a yes or a thumbs up. Thanks, Aditya and Gaurav. Okay. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 2. Clear felling system results in which kind of stands? Clear felling system results in which kind of stands? Option A, uneven age stands. Option B, even age stands. Option C, there is no regeneration. Option D, mixed age stands. So to answer this question, you have to understand what is a clear felling system, and when a clear felling system is operated, what kind of tree stand? By stand I mean the group of trees or the forest. What kind of standing forest crop do you expect? Post your answers in the chat box and I will take a look at it after 20 to 30 seconds or a minute. I encourage everyone participating in this class to post your answers. Engage with me maximally to make the most out of these live sessions. Even if your answer is wrong, you do not have to shy out, do not have to fear. You will get many more chances to get your answer right, in the upcoming questions. So clear felling system, which kind of stands do you expect? Let us look at what are the answers in the chat box. Aditya says B, Gaurav B, Saranya B, and Tarsia says B. Okay. Now, let us look at what is the correct answer to this question. Clear felling system results in even age stands. Option B is the correct answer. Very good. You guys are all answering correctly. I'm happy that you have all understood these concepts very nicely, making my job easier as well as revised your lectures as well. So clear filling system, how does it results in even age stands? We will look at it. Now what is a clear filling system? The clear filling system removes entire stand in a single operation. So that is the key point to remember. So this is the mature stand or the mature forest on which you are going to apply your silvicultural management. So if you do a clear cut or a clear felling system, you clear all the trees in a single setting, or you clear a single area in a single operation. You create all you you fell all the trees in that area, creating a fully exposed open area where a new uniform generation of trees is established, usually via planting or natural regeneration. So mostly in the clear felling system, natural regeneration is not very highly seen, but it is controlled in a artificial regeneration setting, as well as clear felling system creates fully exposed and open areas where new uniform growth can happen. This method is the cornerstone of even aged silviculture, resulting in a stand with trees of the same age. And how uniform is it? New trees start at the same time, maintaining a max age variation of around just within 20% within the stand. So whenever there is an establishment after a clear filling system, it is clearly within the ranges of variation, and we can roughly say that it is a uniform even aged stand. Stand regeneration, the entire area is typically reforested quickly through human intervention, through artificial regeneration and efficiency. This approach is common in industrial forestry for high value timber, as it simplifies harvesting and reforestation. So you have a mature stand, you do a clear felling or a clear cut system, and then whatever trees that are planted or regenerating in a natural as well as in artificial regeneration will be roughly of the same age, because the establishment time is same for these saplings. And when these trees go into the mature stand, now you also form or regenerate a uniform age stand. So that is why clear cut system or clear filling system is a cornerstone or key characteristic of even age silviculture. Is it clear to the students? Is it easy to understand? Just let me know with a like or yes in the comment box. Cool, thank you. Okay, so far so good. Let's move on to the next question, question number 3. Mycorrhizal association is an example of dash. Mycorrhizal association is an example of dash. Option A, parasitism. Option B, commensalism. Option C, mutualism. Option D, competition. Mycorrhizal association. Understood the question? You have to recall what is a mycorrhiza and what kind of association does it forms with the plants or in the forest. Is it parasitism, commensalism, mutualism, or competitive or competition? Post your answers in the chat box so that I can look at them and then reveal what is the correct answer to this question. Okay, so there are many answers in the comment section. Aditya is saying C, Ria C, Tarsya C, Gaurav, Saranya, everyone is answering C. And there is also a comment by Gaurav. Please explain the other options as well. Okay, I will do that. So let us first find out What is a mycorrhizal association? Example of in the tree system. Correct answer is option C, mutualism. Mutualism is the correct answer. Good, all of you have answered correctly. Mycorrhiza is a mutual partner of the plant. Now, what is mycorrhiza? Mycorrhiza is a widespread mutualistic symbiosis between fungus and the plant. So, mycorrhiza is nothing but the fungal hypha or extensions of the mushrooms and underground fungi which have mutualistic relationships with the roots of the plant. And what is mutualism? Mutualism is a relationship between two species in which both the partners or both the interacting partners benefit from this interaction, where both partners benefit involving over 90% of the land plants. So 90% of the land plants have this mycorrhizal association. Now, what are the benefits that are derived by each of these partners? The fungus enhances plant water or nutrient uptake, especially the phosphorus, while the plant provides carbohydrates, sugar, lipids from photosynthesis. So, this is the mutual interaction. The fungus, with its dense network of mycelium and mycorrhizal associations, increases the water and nutrient uptake, increases the surface area for absorption, while for the plant, while the plant creates its or shares its sugar reserves with the fungus. Plants provide food for the fungus through the form of photosynthesis and carbohydrates. The fungus provides water and nutrient uptake to the plant. This partnership increases plant stress tolerance and in many cases helps protect against pathogens. So mycorrhizal association also increases the tolerance of the plant's resistance to its many pathogens and diseases because of high nutrient uptake and this strong root based association. Okay, so we understood that mycorrhizal how mycorrhizal association is an example of mutualism. Now Gaurav was asking what are the other options as well. Parasitism. So let us make a table of all these. Okay, so partner 1, let me make a table here. We have partner 1 here. Okay, and then we have partner 2. Now based on which species benefits, or you can say this is the host, which is the partner 1, and this is the guest species, or this is the host and this is the dependent species. Let's say there are two species, which is partner 1, species 1 and species 2. Now what happens in parasitism? Parasitism means the dependent species benefits. Sorry, I'll write it better. The dependent species benefits but harming the partner species. Partner species or the host species is getting harmed. That is what is called parasitism. The parasite derives all the nutrients from the host while harming the host, causing diseases, exploiting the nutrition of the host for its own, and the parasite benefits. So that is parasitism. When the dependent is benefiting and the host is having a negative interaction. What is commensalism? In commensalism, the dependent benefits without causing any harm to the host. So it is 0 or null. If I In commensalism, the dependent or one partner is benefiting, but the other partner is neither benefited nor in any harm or loss. That is commensalism. Now mutualism, both the partners benefit, both the interacting partners will benefit from this interaction. The dependent will also benefit, as well as the hosts will also benefit, just like we saw in the case of mycorrhiza. Now competition. Now competition is, you can understand, both the partners are getting harm from this interaction. The dependent and host are competing for the same resources. So since the resources are limiting, since the space is limiting, both of these species are getting a negative interaction. The dependent will try to take away the resources of the host. The host will try to take away the resources of the dependent. So that is an example of competition. Parasitism, best example, plant parasite. Plant parasite Cuscuta or climbers. So what do these climbers do? Climbers actually cover the tree trunks. They suck all the nutrition from the plant. The climbers benefit, but the plant is harmed by the climbers or any parasitic plant. Commensalism, you can think of. I have examples for animal species, but for plant species I have to think. Let's say shade dependent plant. Shade dependent plant. Now a shade dependent plant relies on large canopy trees. So the shade dependent plant is actually benefiting from this interaction, but large canopy trees are neither benefited nor harmed. Mutualism, mycorrhiza, we just saw how fungus and plants coordinate each other for nutrients as well as sugars. Competition is between any two species of the plant. Competition can be space competition, space and nutrients with invasive species. Yeah, you can understand this better. When an invasive species is coming into the forest or has been introduced into the forest, it will compete with the existing native species for space and nutrients. So the invasive species is competing for the same resource as the plant. So both of them are getting harm from this interaction. If there was only the invasive species would have benefited. If there was only the host plant or the native plant, it would have benefited. But since both of them are in the same space with limited resources, with limited density, both of these are getting harm from this interaction. Understood? Is there any other questions? I think I can see another comment. Is epiphyte belongs to commensalism? Yes, you can say that. Depends on the characteristics of the epiphytes. For example, lichens are also an epiphyte. Lichens are actually a symbiotic mutualistic relationship between fungus and alga. But the lichen growing on the tree is an epiphyte. That is commensalism. Yes, the lichen gets protection, but the tree is neither harmed nor gaining any benefit. So yes, you can say that lichen is a epiphyte is a commensal. Now is it clear to the students? If yes, then we will move ahead to the next question. Let me know in the comment box or with a like or a yes, and we can move ahead. As per request, I have explained all the options with examples. I hope it was easier to understand. Very good. So let's move on to the next question. Question number 4. Which regeneration method retains a few trees for seed supply? Which regeneration method retains a few trees for seed supply? Option A, coppice system, option B, shelter wood system, option C, selection system, option D, Tonga system. Understood the question? Which is the regeneration or silvicultural system where you retain a few trees for seed supply? Time to post your answers in the comment box, and I will check them in 30 seconds to 1 minute and come back to this question. Okay, let's check the comment box for answers. Which regeneration method retains a few trees for seed supply? Tarsia is saying option B. Aditya says option C. Gaurav and Saranya option B. Okay. Now let us look at what is the correct answer to this question. The regeneration method which retains a few trees for seed supply is the shelter wood system. Option B, shelter wood system, is the correct answer. Now in the shelter wood system, so Tarsia, Gaurav and Saranya have marked the correct answer. I'm sorry Aditya, selection system. Selection system is not aimed at the purpose of retaining few trees for seed supply, rather selecting the timber or the kind of tree that is needed to be harvested. Shelter wood, on the other hand, is directed at the process of retaining a few good seed bearing trees. Okay, we will understand this concept in a little brief in the next slide. Now, what is a shelter wood system? Here is a pictorial representation of a group shelter wood system, a type of shelter wood system. The shelter wood system is a silvicultural method that removes mature trees in a series of cuts, retaining a portion of the overstory to provide a seed source and shade for the new generation of seedlings. So, two important things to remember. One is the seed source. You retain such trees which can act as good seed source, or young trees reaching in their prime in their seed year, which can serve as the seed source, and also another set of trees or the same set of trees for shade. You need shade bearing trees with large canopies to maintain some of the overstory and to also maintain a seed source. That is how a shelter wood system is directed, or shelter wood system is made. And the first trees that you remove are some of the mature trees and the trees which are dead, dying or infested, to create this shelter wood system. Now, how is it different from the clear felling system we saw in the earlier questions? Unlike clear felling system, this system ensures a constant natural seed supply and protects young trees from harsh environmental conditions. So, two important points that we just mentioned in the shelter wood system. One is the natural seed supply, no need for artificial regeneration, and also protecting young trees by providing shade and also from direct wind and other environmental conditions. So this is the stages of cutting of for a shelter wood system. You have a mature stand. You first do a preparatory cut of the shelter wood, where you majorly remove the old trees, the dead dying trees. Then you do a seed cut of shelter wood. You cut some more trees, retaining the seed bearing young trees with seed ears, and you remove more mature trees. So you cut the seed, you cut other trees and you only maintain these seed trees, which will give you the seed supply. Now these seed supply, these trees supply the seeds, resulting in natural saplings growth, which are now growing under the shade of these big trees, which leads to the formation of a group shelter wood system Now these trees when regenerate, these will be the older trees which will be cut to continue this process of shelter wood system. So what are the key aspects of the shelter wood system? Seed supply is one of the key aspects. Mature trees with desirable genetics and large crowns are retained to act as mother trees or seed trees to replenish the forest naturally, and they also provide shelter. The remaining canopy protects the emerging young seedlings from drought, frost, or excessive sunlight. So this is how you ensure good natural regeneration the, from the existing trees. So you have a preparatory cut which enhances condition for seed production and increases wind resistance. You have an establishment cut, which is this, opens the canopy, exposing the soil and providing enough light for seedlings to germinate. And then you have the removal cut, removes the final remaining overstory trees once the new stand is successfully established. Once the stand is established, you remove the final remaining overstory trees and let these trees grow. So this is how a shelter wood system maintains a seed supply or leaves behind a few seeds for few trees for natural seed supply and for natural regeneration. Is it clear to the students? What is the shelter wood system and how we use the mature trees or the natural trees as mother trees or seed bearing trees for natural regeneration? Okay, very good. Let's look at the next question. Question number 5. Now comes a calculation based question. Okay, I see Riya Kumari's asking, sir, can you explain the selection system? Sure, I'll come back to this question. So selection system, I don't have the diagram here, but yes, I'll just explain in simple terms. Yeah. So we are looking at selection system. Right. So in selection system, you actually do a periodic removal of some mature trees of importance. Let's say you are growing a sandalwood stand within a forest, so you remove the sandalwood, selectively remove the sandalwood trees and none other trees of importance, timber and NFTP, non-forest timber produced. So all these trees are selectively removed. That is why it is called a selection system. It is not aimed at regenerating through natural systems or not felling all the trees in one go. That is how it is different from the shelter wood system. So this selection system actually creates an uneven aged. So if you remove from a forest, if you remove some trees in patches, these are the selection or trees of your choice or mature trees, then what will happen? The rest of the trees that remain and the trees that are regrowing here will create an uneven age stand. So mature trees, diseased or defective trees are also the first choice for removal in the selection system, and this is also creating natural regeneration, but it regenerates in small gaps. Regenerates in small gaps like this. While in a shelter wood system, if we were to compare, in a shelter wood system, you actually remove large patches like this with a continuous canopy. So these are the trees which are forming the continuous canopy. like this, and these patches are devoid. These are the large patches. So here you have a continuous canopy, you have more felling of the trees. So the first preparatory cut, sorry, you can actually compare the preparatory cut of the shelter wood system to the selection system. Prep cut of shelter wood is comparable to selection system. But even after this, we have other stages of seed establishment cut, which is not done in the shelter wood system. And here in selection system, you often select a single tree or a small group of trees to be cut depending on the need or the mature and dead and dying trees. So in the selection system, you have more continuous cover. You have more continuous cover of the forest. Again, another characteristics, continuous forest cover, continuous forest cover and canopy. And it also has less impact on nature. And selection system is also used when you are trying to conserve the wildlife and biodiversity conservation. Because here, while conserving biodiversity, you do not want to remove a lot more of trees, but you also want to harvest the trees for timber or for trees of importance. So that is why you select a particular area or select a few trees to be cut, and then regeneration happens in that area. So that is a selection system, and it is different from shelter wood system, where you have large patches of forest removed with some canopy trees and with some seed bearing trees, where the regeneration takes much larger time and the canopy is not continuous, may or may not be continuous. Now is it clear? I think these many characteristics will help you understand what is a selection system. Again, Gaurav is asking, explain the others as well. Okay, coppice system. Now what do I mean when I write coppice? So when you do a clear felling, coppice system is a clear felling regeneration method. So growth of new plants or saplings from the stem, this is called coppicing. This is a coppice. So this is often seen after clear felling, natural regeneration. After clear felling of certain species, you can see emergence of small saplings or plant-like structures from the cut stem or cut trunk of the tree. That is called the coppice, and this is the coppice system, natural regeneration after clear felling. Tonga system. Tonga system is a community-based agroforestry method where in patches, let's say this patch is clear felled, while this is the forest. This is a clear felled patch, clear cut patch. So what do people do is they actually plant agricultural crops in these along with alternating teak crops. So this is a timber line. Timber crops will be planted here and agricultural crops will be planted here. And these timber crops will actually give shade to the agricultural crops, and these will be used in rotation. And once these timber crops are, or the timber teak forest are grown or mature, then these teak system, the agricultural crop will be removed and moved to another system. So this will be done in patches, This is the Tongia system where you alternate your agricultural crops along with the timber crops or the forest crops, which is teak or sal, generally done in Burma and in other areas. It's a regional agroforestry and social community based method, which is the Tongia system. You can remember it, agroforestry. Alternate crops plus timber stands. Is it clear to the students? We have spent quite a time here. I hope it is clear. We have learnt about all the different systems mentioned in this option: coppice system, shelterwood system, selection system, and Tongia system. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Question number 5. Stick length is 75 centimeters. Arm length is 50 centimeters. Distance to the tree is 20 meters. What is the tree height? Oh, my bad. I have already written the formula here. I should hide this formula. But anyways, this is a forest mensuration question where you have to find out what is the height of the tree based on the stick method, where foresters use a stick and trigonometric principles or triangular principle, similar triangle principle to calculate a tree distance. Stick length is 75 centimeters, arm length is 50 centimeters, distance to the tree is 20 meters. What is the height of the tree? Okay, let us look at the comment section for people who have answered. Aditya, Saranya, Riya, Gaurav, Tarsya, everyone is saying C. I think everyone calculated fast because I have already displayed the formula. I should have hidden it. But anyways, so the correct answer to this question is 30 meters. The height of the tree is 30 meters. Option C is the correct answer. Well done, your calculation is on the point. Okay, let us understand what is the principle behind this measurement, this method of measurement. So this method of measurements follows the similarity of triangles method, where the actual height of the tree is estimated through the help of a stick. So now the question says, let's say this is the hand of the forester. Mind my bad drawing, do not please excuse me. This is the stick the forester is using, and this is the tree. Okay. Now looking at the tree here, and the question says the hand distance is, what was the hand distance? Arm length is 50 centimeters. This is 50 centimeters. Stick length is 75 centimeters. Okay, and the distance between where the person is standing to the tree is 20 meters. Okay, Now what is the height of this tree? This is the question. So now if you consider the line of sight, if you match the line of sight to be a straight line and you consider this to be a triangle and this to be another straight triangle, like this, then this will form two triangles subjecting 90-degree angles to the ground, and this distance is 20 meters, this distance is 50 meters, this is 75 centimeters, 50 centimeters. What is the height of this tree? Now these two triangles can be congruent or can be similar, because if we name this triangle A, B, C and D, E, so triangle A, B, C is similar to triangle A, D, E. How are they similar? Because angle BAC is equal to angle DAE. Understood? These both the triangles share the same angle, and angle ACB is equal to angle AED. This is also similar. So now if two angles of these two triangles are similar, then by the rule of the triangles where the sum of the three angles is 180 degree, angle ABC is also equal to angle ADC, because angle ABC can be written as 180 degree minus angle BAC plus angle ACB, and this can be written as 180 degree minus angle DAE plus angle AED. Now since this is equal to this is equal to this, so this is also equal to this. So now using the three angles, since three angles of the triangles are same, so we can say that triangle ABC is similar to triangle ADE. Now when two triangles are similar, we can also take the length of their sides. AB by AD is equal to AC by AE is equal to BC by DE. Agreed with me? All these sides, this side of the triangle and the side of the other triangle, can be written as this. Now utilizing this equation, we know the value of AC, we know the value of AE, we know the value of BC, and we have to find the value of DE. So taking this, AC by AE is equal to BC by DE implies AC is the arm length, which is 50 centimeter arm length, divided by AE is 20 meters distance of tree, now we can write that BC, which is the stick length, is 75 centimeters, and this is H, the height of the tree. So now H is equal to 50 centimeter by 75 centimeter, sorry, H is equal to 75 centimeter by 50 centimeter into 20 meters. Now if you cut this, 15 This is 30 meters. Therefore, the height of the tree is 30 meters. Okay, is it clear to the students how we use the stick method and the similar properties of triangles to estimate the height of the tree? Okay, let's move on to the next question. We are actually behind the schedule. Gaurav has a comment. Sir, the unit was in centimeters. So should we not convert it in meters? Yes, we should, but if you can see, the other unit was also in centimeter, and centimeter cancelled out. That is why when you divide 75 centimeters with 50 centimeters, you get a unit less constant, which is then multiplied by 20 meters, so the final answer is in meters. You can actually convert everything into meter and then do the multiplication and division. It is perfectly fine. Units divide each other. Yes, units divide each other. So if you have a particular unit, if you have 1 kilogram divided by 1 kilogram, or you have 20 kilogram, you divide by 20 kilogram, you have a constant. If you want, you can convert it into meters and do the calculation. The answer would be the same. 0.75 meters and 0.5 meters into 20 meters. That would be the safest option. You should follow that. Okay. We'll move on to the next question. Question number 6. Which felling notch type is preferred for retaining maximum timber, especially the butt log value? So here we are referring to different felling methods. Which type of felling notch is preferred for retaining maximum timber? Option A, Humboldt notch. Option B, conventional notch. Option C, open-faced notch. Option D, Humboldt notch. Okay, I might have repeated the options. So A or D are the same options. Write down what you think is the correct answer. Which felling notch type is preferred for retaining maximum timber? Okay, let's look back at this question. What are the answers people have mentioned? Option A and D are the same, so any one of it, if you have mentioned, I will consider it. Tarsya says D, Aditya A, Gaurav D. Yes, Aditya's A and D are the same. Saranya says C and Riya says A. Okay. So the correct answer to this question is, what is the notch type or cutting type which maximum timber we can retain after applying this cut? Correct answer is option A, Humboldt notch. A or D is the correct answer. It's not the conventional notch, not the open face notch, but the Humboldt notch. So all of you guys have answered correctly, and Saranya, you'll get another chance to get your answer correct. Your answer is not correct this time, but let us learn about different kinds of notch and different kinds of felling systems in the tree. So there are basically three types of felling cuts. First one is the open faced cut. 1, 2, 3 determines or tells you the direction of the cut and the order of cutting. The first cut is at an 45-degree angle to the tree. The second cut is the lower side cut or a lower cut to the tree, and the third cut is the back cut in an open faced notch. In a conventional notch cut, only the upper 45-degree cut is the first one, while a perpendicular or parallel to the ground cut is the second cut, and 3 is the back cut. In a Humboldt notch, the first cut is a parallel cut, Second cut is a lower cut from the base, and third cut is a back cut. Now, how does Humboldt notch ensures maximum timber retention? Humboldt notch or the inverse notch cut, the top cut is horizontal, bottom cut angles upward roughly 45 degrees, cutting into the stump rather than into the butt log. So what you do is, you do not cut into the butt log or the upper. You can imagine, if you are felling a tree, this upper part is what you are going to collect for timber, while the lower part is the buttress, which will be left in the forest for regeneration. So if you want to maximize the timber, you are actually saving this much amount of timber or maximizing timber from the conventional and open face notch, where the angular cut is in the stump, where the angular cut is inside the buttress, but it is removing or chipping wood off the timber that you are going to collect. So Humboldt notch, where this is an inverse cut from the bottom, this is ideal for large timber on sloped ground because the butt of the tree can catch on the angled stump, preventing it from kicking back. The conventional notch, most common, consisting of the 45-degree downward cut and a horizontal bottom cut. Open face notch, highly accurate method with a 70 to 90 degree opening, allowing the tree to stay under control until it hits the ground. So that is why you save maximum timber in the Humboldt notch, because you are making the angular cut into the buttress, not into the timber. While in a conventional notch, you are making the angular cut into the timber, so when this tree falls down, you lost this much amount of timber, which is not in the case of Humboldt notch. Is it clear to the students? Once you realize the visualization, it is easier to understand. Okay. Let's move on to the next question. Very good response so far. Question number 7. A forest shows leaf shedding in dry season and receives 100 to 200 centimeter rainfall. This is likely to be which kind of a forest? A forest shows leaf shedding in dry season and receives 100 to 200 centimeters of rainfall. Option A, evergreen forest. Option B, thorn forest. Option C, moist deciduous forest. Option D, alpine forest. Understood the question? If you remember the first question we dealt with, rainfall and temperature distribution of the forest, I think you might be able to answer this question. Shedding of leaves is also a typical characteristics of a particular kind of forests. Shedding of trees in the dry season and also receiving moderate to high amount of rainfall, which is 100 to 200 centimeters of rainfall. Let us check the comments for answers. Aditya says C, Gaurav Tarsia C, Saranya and Riya also answering C. Okay. Correct answer to this question is option C, moist deciduous forest. Moist because it receives 100 to 200 centimeter rainfall, and deciduous because it sheds its leaves in the dry season. So option C is the correct answer. Well done everyone. Your answers are correct. So here is an example of a moist deciduous forest which shows shedding in the summer season, the leaves turning orange to yellow, while it is also a moist forest because it has high water retention capacity and also gets lot of rainfall. Moist deciduous trees are dominant species found in regions with 100 to 200 centimeter of annual rainfall, characterized by shedding their leaves during the short dry season. So this is the summer season. So summer season you do not see the shedding, while in the winter season, in the short dry season, they do the shedding. These dense forests, in the autumn season specifically, just beginning of the winter, these dense forests, often called monsoon forest, grow 20 to 30 meters tall and are primarily found in India along the Himalayan foothills, Odisha, and the western Ghats and the eastern slopes. And many examples of these type of forest species are teak, sal, shisham, bamboo, mahua, sandalwood, amla and kusum trees. Teak is a major timber species. Sal is also dominant in eastern India, and hardwood species which are used for timber and other plantation. These are many prominent members of the moist deciduous forest. Is it clear to the students? Shall we move forward? Very good. Okay. Let's look at the next question. Question number 8. If dBH increases from 20 centimeter to 30 centimeter, basal area increases by a factor of dash. Okay, again a calculation based question. If dBH increases from 20 centimeter to 30 centimeter, basal area increases by a factor of dash. Option A 1.5, option B 2, option C 2.25, option D 3. You have to you have to remember the formula for calculating the basal area with the help of dBH. I hope you know what is dBH, or you are recalling what is dBH. Now if the dBH will increase from 20 centimeter to 30 centimeter, basal area will increase by a factor of dash. Take your time and post your answers in the chat box. Should I check the comments now, or is it enough time? I only see 2 answers. Aditya says C and Saranya is saying C. Any more students who have gotten to the answer? Okay. Now let's me reveal what is the correct answer. If the dBH increases from 20 centimeter to 30 centimeter, basal area increases by a factor of option C 2.25. Okay? 2.25 is the correct answer. Saranya and Aditya have answered correctly. Well done. Now let us look at this problem. Now what is the formula? We'll start with the formula for calculating the basal area. Now what is basal area and what is dBH? So if you consider a tree and you are measuring the diameter at breast height, this is the breast height, which is 1.37 meters. Whatever is the diameter at this breast height is called dBH. And if you cut the tree as at this point and take the cross sectional area, now this area is the basal area. Okay, and basal area is given by basal area, or BA, is given by simply the area of the circle that is formed at the diameter at breast height. So if you consider the area of the circle, it should be pi r square. Now r can be written as diameter at breast height divided by 2 whole square, which is pi by 4 into dBH square. So basal area is actually dependent on the square of the dBH, or basal area is proportional to dBH square. Now taking to our problem, dBH1, let us consider dBH1 to be 20 centimeter, which was in our problem, and dBH2 to be 30 centimeter. Now we calculate the basal area. Basal area 1 is equal to pi by 4 into 20 centimeter square. Okay, is equal to pi by 4 into 400 centimeter square. And basal area 2 for 30 centimeter dBH is equal to pi by 4 into 30 centimeter square is equal to pi by 4 into 900 centimeter square. Now if you divide the dBH BA2 by BA1, it will give you the factor increase. Now if you do that, is equal to pi by 4 into 900 centimeter square divided by pi by 4 into 400 centimeter square. Pi by 4 cancelled out, centimeter square cancelled out. It is roughly 9 by 4, which is 2.25. This is the correct answer. So option C, 2.25 is the factor increase in basal area. Is it clear to the students? Were you able to understand this? Because I did not receive many answers on this question. If you are not understanding any part of the question or the answer, or you want me to discuss a completely different doubt of yours, now is the time. You can ask me. This is exactly what the live sessions are for, and this is exactly what a teaching assistant is supposed to do, right? Okay, if you have understood this question, we'll move ahead to the next question. Question number 9. A forest experiences decline in native species due to introduction of exotic fast growing species. This is dash. A forest experiences decline in native species due to introduction of exotic fast growing trees. This is because of dash. Option A, invasive species impact. Option B, habitat loss. Option C, pollution. Option D, over exploitation. Okay, I think it's an easy question since there are already many answers. Aditya is answered A, Saranya says A, Gaurav A, Riya A. Okay. So let us quickly look at the correct answer to this question. The forest is experiencing a decline in the native species due to introduction of an exotic fast growing species. This is an invasive species impact because an exotic fast growing tree is an invasive species to a native species. So option A is the correct answer. Well done, all of you have answered correctly. Now let us understand what are these factors, what are the hippo factors which affect the habitat loss or which affect the biodiversity. The hippo acronym stands for H for habitat destruction, I for invasive species, P for pollution, P for population, O for overhunting or overexploitation. The hippo acronym represents habitat destruction, invasive species, pollution, population and overharvesting, summarizing the 5 major drivers of biodiversity loss. In forestry, habitat destruction, deforestation is a primary driver while invasive species can disrupt forest ecosystems and overharvesting, unsustainable logging threatens forest resources. Now, how does an invasive species exploits or disrupt the forest ecosystem? Now, what is an invasive species? Invasive plant species in forestry are non-native plants that aggressively colonize disrupt native forest ecosystems, and reduce biodiversity productivity and ecosystem services. Now you can see this in the picture here, that this was once a lush green forest, but this climber or is an invasive species which has grown everywhere in a short period of time, covering the actual forest and deriving all the nutrients and competition, providing competition to the species. Major examples include lantana, Prosopis juliflora, Chromolena, and tree of heaven, which thrive by competing for light, nutrients, and altering the fire patterns. So, climbing of the climbers can cause ladder fire. If you remember the fire safety and the forest fire lectures, climbers cause ladder fire. Climbers and other invasive species compete for light and nutrients. They are actually covering the whole tree, absorbing all the sunlight for itself and not allowing the tree for good photosynthesis, and also compete for nutrients and altering the fire patterns. So these are how invasive species or exotic fast growing species cause disruption to the natural forest ecosystem or the native species. Invasive species also form a part of the HIPPO acronym, which enlists major drivers of biodiversity loss. Is it clear to the students? Very good. Let's move ahead to the next question. Question number 10. A dry region nursery suffers from poor seedling survival due to water loss. Best intervention for this nursery would be option A, raised beds, option B, sunken beds, option C, increased spacing, option D, fertilizer addition. You have to understand the problem statement. There is a dry region in the nursery, or the nursery is in dry region, suffers from poor seedling survival due to water loss. Which method should be the best intervention? Okay, let's look at the comment sections for whatever people have answered. Aditya says B, Riya says B, Gaurav B, Saranya is also answering B. Okay, any more answers, or should I reveal the correct answer? Okay, let's look back at this question. A dry region nursery suffers from poor seedling survival due to water loss. Best intervention should be sunken bed system, or option B, sunken bed system will help in this dry region nursery. So option B is the correct answer. Once again, all the students have answered correctly. Very nice, very good. So let us understand what are sunken beds and how it is different from a raised bed system, and when to use or adopt a sunken bed and when to use a raised bed system. On my left is a sunken bed system example here. Sunken beds are water efficient gardening technique where planting areas are dug below the ground level, acting as basins that trap moisture, enhances soil water retention, and reduce evaporation in arid climates. So sunken bed is the technique that you use when you want to retain, you want good and efficient water retention, because beds are dug below the ground level which naturally retain water and percolate water. This enhances the moisture content of the soil and reduces evaporation, and majorly used in arid climates or dry areas. These beds create cooler, humid microclimate that directly funnels water to the roots, though they require excellent drainage to prevent waterlogging. So these help in high absorption of water to the roots. That is why sunken beds are chosen for water loving species as well as areas which are dry or high temperature areas. On the comparison, we have a raised bed systems where plantations or saplings are planted on raised beds, are elevated gardening structure filled with improved soil, ideal for maximizing space, improving drainage, and preventing soil compaction. Now those saplings which do not need much water and actually do not die in water logging will be the ones which are using the raised bed technique. Often enclosed in wood, stone, or metal, they allow farmers to control soil quality, leading to faster warming, better drainage, and higher yields in small areas. Sorry. So, is it clear to the students why we are using sunken beds for a dry nursery where poor water retention or runoff is the cause? Is it clear to the students? Very good. Okay. Let's move on to the next question. A tree is 20-meter away and subtends 45-degree angles on the observer. What is the height of the tree? A simple calculation based technique. A tree is 20 meters away from the observer, subtends a 45-degree angle. What is the height of the tree? Option A 20 meters, option B 14 meters, option C 10 meters, option D 30 meters. Tree is 20 meters away from the observer and the observer is saying it extends a 45-degree angle to the tree. What can be the height of the tree? Okay, let's check the comment box if people have answered. Aditya and Gaurav are saying option A. Any more answers or are people still calculating? If you imagine the question into a triangle, I already gave you a hint. This will be easier to find out. Okay, let's not spend more time on this question. I will reveal what is the correct answer. A tree is 20 meters away and subtends a 45-degree angle on the observer. What is the height of the tree? Correct answer is option A. 20 meters is the correct answer. Gaurav and Aditya, both correct answers. Well done. So let us look at what do I mean by this question. So here is an observer. Okay. And then you have a tree here. It says that the distance between the observer and the tree is 20 meters and the angle subjected is 45 degrees. Now what is the height of the tree? So if we consider this as the base, this is the height, this is, let's say, A, this is B, and C. We have to find what is A or height of the tree. So we can write that sine theta, if this is 45 degree, we take it as theta. Sine theta is equal to sine theta, if this is a right angle triangle, if this is considered, sine theta is equal to H or side A by C, cos theta is equal to side B by C, and tan theta is equal to tan theta is equal to side A by side B. So if we use this equation, we know the value of B and we have to find the value of A. So we use tan theta in the equation. Theta is 45 degrees, so tan 45 degrees is equal to A by 20 meters is B. Tan 45 degrees 1 is equal to A by 20 meters. So A is equal to 20 meters. Height of tree 20 meters. Is it clear to the students? I think it's an easy one, so it should be clear to the students. Many people are being left from the call, I think. Is it clear to the students that how did we calculate the height of the tree? Okay, okay. Let's move forward. Question number 12. A species whose conservation indirectly protects many others is which kind of species? A species whose conservation indirectly protects many others is a keystone species, an umbrella species, a flagship species, or an endemic species. Come on, guys, post your answers in the chat box. Whatever you think is the correct one. A species whose conservation indirectly protects many others is termed as which kind of species? Okay, I see some answers in the chat box. Gaurav says B, Aditya says B, Ria says A. Okay, let us find out what kind of a species whose conservation indirectly protects many others is called an umbrella species. Option B is the correct answer. Keystone species, Ria, means something else. Keystone species is a ecologically important species which regulates food chains. If you remove such species, many other food chains and the environment in whole is getting affected. That is what is a description of a keystone species. But an umbrella species is a species which has, we will understand, species which has large range of territory. So in protecting the umbrella species, you also protect many other species in that territory. Flagship species, a species which the public or the community can relate to. They are charismatic, they are they are very relatable to the public, and public can raise funds for conservation of the wildlife. Endemic species, species which are particular to a geographical region, they are called endemic species. So, what are umbrella species? Umbrella species are organisms selected for conservation because protecting their vast habitat requirements indirectly shields many other species within the same ecosystem, such as a jaguar. A jaguar has hundreds of square kilometers of habitat. So, if you want to conserve a jaguar, you have to make a national park which is spreading across hundreds of kilometers. So, in protecting a jaguar, you are actually protecting many other species which occur inside the 100 square kilometer area. Red wolves or grey wolves, bay checker spot butterfly, salmon, giant panda, these are all examples of umbrella species. An elephant is also an umbrella species, and a tiger is also an umbrella species. Because their habitats are so big, for conservation of these animals, you are already protecting or indirectly protecting many other species which are staying in that same habitat. By conserving these umbrella species, conservationists can efficiently protect biodiversity across large areas. Key examples include tigers, pandas, and whales. Is it clear to the students? What is an umbrella species? Let me mention different definitions here as well. Keystone species, ecologically important, regulates food chains, maintains balance in environment. Example, tiger. Tiger is a top predator. Tiger keeps the herbivore number in check, which in turn keeps the plants alive or the forest ecosystem thriving. Keystone species, umbrella species, large habitat, indirect protection to other species. Kind of an umbrella. So inside an umbrella you can have many other species. Flagship species, charismatic, mascots, publicly acclaimed. Publicly acclaimed, masses can relate to. These are flagship species. Funds campaigns. And endemic species, rare species, found in a particular geographical area. Now, is it clear to the students? We have described all these options. What is a keystone species, what is an umbrella species, what is a flagship species, and what are endemic species. Okay, very good. Let us move ahead to the next question, question number 13. Question number 13. A LiDAR pulse return time is 10 nanoseconds. What is the distance? A LiDAR pulse return time is 10 nanoseconds. What is the distance between the plane and the LiDAR? Plane and the canopy. If you remember what is LiDAR, it is laser based surveying system detection. Now you send a LiDAR pulse, the return time is 10 nanoseconds. What is the distance between the LiDAR source and the forest canopy? Option A 1.5 meters, option B 3 meters, option C 6 meters, option D 15 meters. Okay, let's come back to this question. Check all the answers in the comment box. Only two answers. Aditya and Gaurav says option A. Any more answers? I think many students have left the class, maybe due to poor internet connection or might be due to they did not find this class interesting. It's okay. Nevertheless, whatever the population or the strength is, my job is to teach, and I would do the same if there are no students either. So let us come back to this question. LiDAR pulse return time is the 10 nanoseconds. What is the distance? Correct answer is option A, 1.5 meters is the correct answer. So KM, Gaurav and Aditya, well done. Option A is the correct answer. Now what is a LiDAR system and how do we calculate this distance? So suppose there is a forest cover like this. You have the canopy. And if you want to measure what is the canopy cover, so you use the LiDAR system. Let's say this is a plane. It will send in laser signals. This is the LiDAR system. It will send in laser system and check the time to travel the distance d, travel and come back. The signal will be sent and detected by the same plane. So the time taken would be what is the distance between the canopy and the plane? Since this is a laser travels at speed of light. Now what is the distance that this laser is traveling? The distance that laser is traveling is 2d. Speed of light is c into the time taken by the signal to be recorded. So thus we can find out d is equal to c into t by 2. Now c is 3 into 10 power 8 meter per second. Time here is 10 nanosecond by 2. How much is a nanosecond? 10 to the power minus 9 meter per second into 10 into 10 power minus 9 seconds. Second cancel out by 2. This is 10 power minus 1. 10 into 10 power minus 1 is 1. So this is 3 by 2 meters or 1.5 meters. This is the correct answer. Is it clear to the students? This is how a LiDAR operates and this is how you calculate the time or the distance between the forest canopy and the LiDAR source. Okay, very good. Thanks for the thumbs up. Let's move to the next question. The A horizon is best described as dash. Option A, parent material layer. Option B, bedrock zone. Option C, pure clay horizon. Option D, topsoil rich in organic matter and minerals. The A horizon, and when I say horizon, you guys could have figured it out what we are talking about. The A horizon, what can it be best described as? Okay, let's look at the answers in the comment box. Gaurav, Riya, Aditya, Tarsia, everyone is saying option D. Okay, let us check what is the correct answer. The A horizon is best described as the topsoil which is rich in organic matter and minerals. Option D is the correct answer. Nailed it, everyone, guys. Correct answers. Very well done. So what is A horizon and what are the different horizons? So what I was referring to here was what is known as the soil profile. Soil profile, when you dig deep into the soil, which gives us a rough overview of different layers of the soil is the soil profile of that area, which can differ from area to area. And this soil profile can be divided into different horizons or layers pertaining to its characteristics. Horizon O, which is the topmost layer, which has decomposing matter and litter. Horizon A, which is the topsoil, rich in humus, living creatures and inorganic minerals. Then comes the elevated horizon, which is the zone of leaching, where materials moves downward. Then the subsoil horizon, which is horizon B. Iron, aluminium, humic compounds are accumulated and clay leached down from A and E horizons are accumulated in B horizon. Then comes the parent horizon, where the weathered parent material is undergoing breakdown and partial breakdown of the inorganic minerals. And the last horizon is the bedrock, which is the R horizon. This is composed of unweathered rock and it is not technically part of the soil. Rather, all the soil layers lie on top of compacted bedrock. So the A horizon is known as the topsoil, which is the uppermost mineral layer of a soil profile, typically located below the organic layer and above the surface layers E and B. This is the A horizon. It is characterized by high concentration of organic matter, which is called humus, mixed with mineral material like sand, silt and clay, providing a nutrient-rich, dark-colored and well-structured environment essential for plant life and microbial activity. Yes, so topsoil or the A horizon determines what kind of crops can grow in this soil profile. So depending on the humus content, which is the organic matter, as well as the mineral content, which is the inorganic matter, this is essential information for plant life and what kind of microbial activity can thrive on this soil profile. Is it clear to the students? Okay, very good. Let's quickly move on to the next question. Artificial regeneration includes dash. Question number 15. Artificial regeneration includes dash. Option A, natural seeding. Option B, coppicing. Option C, planting seedlings. Option D, root suckers. What do we mean by artificial regeneration? Okay, let us check the answers in the comment box. Aditya is saying C. Riya says option A. Gaurav says C. Tarsia says C. Oh, Riya has changed her option to option C. Okay. What is the correct answer to this question? Correct answer is option C, planting seedlings. Planting seedlings is a form of artificial regeneration. Okay, all of you guys have answered correctly. And artificial regeneration is mainly used in a clear cut system, as we understood in the earlier questions. Now let us understand it in more details. Artificial regeneration of forest involves human-led reforestation, restocking cut areas, or afforestation, which is establishing new forests through planting of nursery-grown seedlings or direct seeding. So these are some of the examples of nursery-grown seedlings which are being prepared for planting into a clear-cut forest, or you can also use direct seeds to plant it in establishing new forest. It offers high quality, genetically tailored stock, faster establishment and better control over species composition compared to natural regeneration. Now these are some of the advantages of artificial regeneration. You can actually select the best plants or best seedlings or seeds for plantation, genetically superior, and fast tailored for faster establishment and better pest control. Now, what are the key aspects of artificial regeneration? In nursery, it can also be done in nurseries. Seedlings are grown in nurseries to improve survival rates before field planting. They are raised as bare root or container grown, often treated with mycorrhiza to enhance the nutrient uptake. Then comes the seedling plantation. Planting is the most common method, ensuring higher survival rates. It involves choosing suitable species for the site, managing planting density, and selecting appropriate spacing, which is crucial for development. You can also directly plant the seeds inside instead of growing them into a sapling. Involves sowing the seeds directly into the ground, while often more cost effective for large areas. It is less predictable than planting and faces challenges from seed predators. Then there are site preparations where you use plowing and plotting to prepare the sites by clearing the vegetation and weeding. And what are the challenges for artificial regeneration? Key challenges include maintaining consistent high quality seed sources, managing the high cost and climate variability, preventing damage from pest and browsing animals. I hope it is clear to the students. If yes, then let me know with a thumbs up or a yes in the comment box. Okay, let's move ahead to the next question. Question number 16. A farmer's fields get flooded annually, showing increased fertility. Which is the likely soil type in the farmer's field? Option A, laterite soil. Option B, black soil. Option C, red soil. Option D, khadar soil. A farmer's field is getting flooded annually and it is also showing increased fertility. What is the likely soil type in the farmer's field? Okay, let us move to the comments for the answers. Aditya is saying option D, Gaurav option D, Tarsia option D. Any more answers? Okay, time to reveal what is the correct answer to this question. The likely increase in fertility due to flooding soil is caused by deposition of khadar soil, or option D, which is the correct answer. Again, very well done. You have answered very correctly. Khadar soil is the correct answer. Now, what is this khadar soil and how it is different from another type of soil, which is the khadar bhangar soil? Bhangar and khadar are two types of alluvial soils in the Indo-Gangetic plains, differing primarily by age and fertility. So this is a depiction of the North Indian Indo-Gangetic plains. These are the Himalayas. The river flow-offs and the rainfall trickling down from the Himalayas first forms into erodes the mountains in the valley region, forming the bhabar soil or rocky, not the soil, rocky areas with soil erosion with rock cuts. Then comes the Terai region, which is good for rice plantations and paddy fields. Then comes the Bhangar region and the Khadar region, when finally formed in the delta regions, caused by flooding of the rivers when there is active rainfall. This is the Khadar soil, which is the most fertile alluvial soil found in the plains or the delta regions, and most adjacent to the delta regions is the Bhangar soil. Bhangar represents older upland alluvium with high concord or lime content, while Khadar consists of younger, fertile, fine-grained soil that is renewed annually by floods, and Khadar is more productive for agriculture. Is it clear to the students? We learnt about the differences of Bhangar and Khadar soil. Khadar being more fertile, Bhangar containing more limestones and concord, and Bhangar being the upper alluvium, while Khadar is the lower delta alluvium of a annual flooded rainy river. Okay. Now let us look at question number 17. In coniferous forests with resin rich trees, The most likely fire type is dash. In a coniferous forest, where you have forest with resin rich trees, what is the most likely fire type? Option A, surface fire. Option B, ground fire. Option C, crown fire. Option D, smoldering fire. Coniferous forest with resin rich trees. Okay, guys, post your answers. In a coniferous forest with resin rich trees, most likely fire type is dash. This kind of question might be confusing to the students, which is visible in the comment section. Aditya is saying D, Riya is saying C, Gaurav says D, and Tharsia says C. What is the correct answer? Correct answer is option C, crown fire. So Riya and Tharsia have correct answers, but Aditya and Gaurav, you might get a next chance to make your answer correct. Option C is the correct answer. Now, why a crown fire is common in coniferous forest with resin? Now, what is a crown fire? What is a surface fire? What is a ground fire? A crown fire is a forest fire that spreads through the canopy of trees rather than just along the ground. A surface fire is a fire in the shrubs and the vegetation in the lower level. Ground fire is a fire which is below the soil level and burning underground, while a crown fire is a fire on the top levels of the trees. Crown fires are frequently caused or intensified by resin rich conifers. Why? Because these trees, which include pines, firs, and spruce, are highly flammable due to presence of terpenes and resin in their needles, barks, and cones. So these resins are nothing but flammable compounds which are made of alcohols and aldehydes. Many contains benzene ring compounds like terpenes, which is like fuel to the fire. So that is why this causes crown fire, where the fire jumps from one canopy to the other canopy, not only being restricted to the ground level. It is burning all the crown as well. Is it clear to the students? Okay, cool. Quickly moving on to question number 18. Which system maintains an inverse J shaped structure? Which system maintains an inverse J shaped structure? Option A, clear filling system. Option B, coppice system. Option C, plantation forestry. Option D, selection system. An important question or point to remember within the lecture series. This system maintains an inverse J shaped structure. Okay, there are answers in the comment box. Aditya says D, Gaurav D, Tarsia and Riya D. Let's find out what is the correct answer to this question. Which system maintains an inverse J structure? The answer is option D, selection system. Selection system is the correct answer. Very well done. Again, let us revisit the selection system and understand what do we mean by inverse J-shaped structure. So what is an inverse J curve? If we plot the diameter classes in the x-axis and number of trees in the y-axis for a selection system, we would actually get an inverse J curve. So diameter classes, in a mixed forest or in an uneven age stand, we have trees of multiple diameters. And the number of trees, we have different diameter age classes with different number of trees. Many small trees, seedlings and saplings, fewer medium sized trees and very few large trees. So what happens in a selection system? When you selectively remove some of the mature trees and some of the trees of your importance, then likely there are many small trees in number, because the diameter class is lesser and the number is higher, because these are the trees which are naturally regenerating in a selection wood system. Very few medium sized trees and very few large trees. Large trees are very few. You are removing some of the large trees, that is why the number is down, and many of the new trees which are regenerating, that is why the number is up in a lower diameter class. So the curve starts high on the left and gradually declines towards the right, forming an inverse J shape. This is an inverse J shape. If you invert it to the mirror image, it will be a J. Why it occurs in the selection system? Because the forest is uneven age, that is the reason it occurs in the selection system. Continuous natural regeneration produces many small trees. Some small trees grow into the medium classes. Only a few reach large diameter because mature trees are periodically removed during the selection felling. The inverse J curve indicates balanced uneven age stand structure, sustainable yield of timber, and continuous regeneration of the forest. If the inverse J distribution is maintained, the forest can be harvested repeatedly without losing any productivity. So that is the advantage of this selection system, where the diameter class is mentioned at the DBH. Very few trees with mature old classes which are selectively being removed in the selection system, and many trees which are regenerating in the lower diameter classes and lower age classes. Is it clear to the students that how an inverse J system is seen in a selection system? Very good. Now looking at question number 19. As per the Supreme Court in the Godavarman case, forest includes dash. Option A, only legally notified forest. Option B, only reserved forest. Option C, only protected forest. Option D, all areas meeting the dictionary meaning of forest. This is a famous forest verdict or Supreme Court case in forestry. You guys all must remember this. This is the famous Godavarman case in Supreme Court, which gave the verdict which gave the legal definition of forest. I can see there are many answers. Not to my surprise, everyone is answering option D. And the correct answer is option D. Godavarman case determined that the definition of forest includes not only legal, reserved and protected forest, but anything or everything which meets the dictionary meaning of the forest. So this was in the Supreme Court by T.N. Godavarman Tirumulpad in 1995. Is a landmark Supreme Court of India verdict often called the forest case, which broadly expanded the forest protection. It established that forests include any area conforming to the dictionary definition, not just those officially recorded as a forest. It prohibited non-forest activities such as mining and sawmills on forest land without the central's approval. Okay, so this is the famous Godavarman case. Is it clear to the students? It's a good moment to recall the famous Godavarman case, which defines what is known as forest in India. Okay, coming on to the last and final question of this session. Question number 20. The primary objective of one panchayat is dash. Option A, timber export. Option B, sustainable use by local communities. Option C, industrial development. And option D, mining expansion. What is the primary objective of the one panchayats? And let me check the comments for the answers. Aditya, Gaurav, Riya says B. Tarsia and Sajina says B. Okay. And B is the correct answer. The primary objective of establishment of one panchayat is to ensure sustainable use of non-forest, non-timber forest produce and other economical benefits to the local communities. Now, one panchayats are majorly established in Uttarakhand, and these panchayats also serve as women empowerment modules where women leaders lead these one panchayats, particularly in Uttarakhand, empower local communities by granting them legal authority to manage, protect, and utilize local forest resources. They benefit communities by ensuring sustainable access to fodder, fuel wood, and water, regulating forest use, preventing encroachment, and generating income through forest produce like resin. So, this is a form of social forestry, an initiative which is jointly led by the government and the local communities so that they have a sense of protection for their own forest and derive economical benefits which drives further protection of the forest, generating income through forest produce, preventing encroachment, and a coalition between the local communities as well as the government. Is it clear to the students? Very good. So with this we have come to the end of this presentation. I will save all the writings that we have encountered so far, save this presentation and come back to the call. Yeah, so with this we have come to the end of this 2 hour long extra session where upon your previous request I had included maximum questions. 20 questions is was what I could make of within the time provided. I hope it covered all the topics and you guys benefited from this. If you have any further questions or suggestions, then feel free to turn up your mic and ask me whether you like this class, whether you like this form of teaching, if you have any suggestions for the slides that I make. Because in future, if I'm taking any other NPTEL classes, I would follow greatly appreciate your feedback. Or if you have any question related to this course, forests and their management, whether it was easy to understand, you can tell me. Now is the time you can unmute yourselves. If you find any topic difficult, I can explain it to you. Or I hope I have covered all the topics with these questions, around 20 questions from 12 lecture modules. Okay, seems like no one is speaking up. Everyone is clear and understood. So then I will end this call. Thank you for joining, and thank you for joining, and all the best for your examinations, those who have registered for this course. Okay, there is a comment by Tarsia. The classes and the slides were clear, good, and easily understood. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Tarsia. So that is the job of our of the PhD scholars that NPTEL has collaborated with. So we are a group of PMRF scholars where we are lending our knowledge and expertise in teaching the NPTEL courses so that students registering for with these courses can have a point of live interaction, because generally in NPTEL you have recorded lectures, and whenever there is live interaction there will be more participation and the learning will be efficient. So that is always my goal and my effort for creating good classes and understandable slides. So that is why we spend ample amount of time on each question rather than rushing ahead with all these topics. Thank you so much for these appreciation. I hope you do well in this course and clear your examinations. If there are no more questions further, I will end this class, and the recordings of this lecture as well as the slides will be provided to you in the class NPTEL page. Bye bye, and thank you for joining me on a Sunday. Wishing you luck for your examinations.